Hello, my name is Lisa Yates, and welcome to my first Moreno Valley College DSS advisory. Our DSS team has participated in these before, but I'm a relative newbie since I joined MVC as Director of Disability Support Services on Halloween in 2022. I came to MVC after 6 years at Mount San Jacinto College, where I served students as a disability and academic support counselor. And before that, I served as a student success counselor, a veterans counselor, autism specialist, and adult learning disability specialist at previous colleges. And I just defended my dissertation on Friday, which explored the disability perceptions of college stakeholders who attended an experiential learning activity designed to increase disability awareness and reduce stigma. And I'm bringing that event to MVC, and you will all be invited. Our DSS team welcomes each of you to what I hope will be the beginning of many more collaborative efforts to support students who manage disabilities or body-mind predicaments, as I like to call them, in Riverside County. Please remember to unmute before speaking and mute again when you finish. This is our agenda. After we complete our introductions and you meet our dedicated and cohesive DSS team, I'll share about the driving forces behind our 21st century DSS mission and how it aligns to the global and state imperatives, as well as MVC's mission. And I'll discuss our disability perspective, go over a brief SWOT analysis and a bit of data and the goals that are tied to that data. And I'll share some upcoming opportunities to connect your clients and students to our DSS. And then we'll hear from those of you who want to share. I'm really, really excited about that part. So without further ado, I want to give everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves. If you could, you'll see your name on there. Just kind of go across from left to right. Say hello, tell us what you like about your job. We can start with the top row and then go to the next row. Don't forget to unmute yourself. Catherine? Maybe she's not here. So next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Peterson. I'm the Executive Director for Adult Education and Community Initiatives at Riverside Community College District.
Next. If you're not in the row, you can just shout out. How's that?
I think Catherine is here. She just needs to unmute herself.
Oh, okay. Catherine?
We can't hear you, Catherine.
And I'm not getting everybody on here. I'm only getting 2 people at a time. I don't know why.
Lisa, if you change at the top of your Zoom.
Yeah, I did. I put it on gallery, but it's only showing me 2 people.
Sometimes your screen is split. You just kind of need to hover your mouse over the line that splits between the screen and the individuals.
I got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So good morning. My name is Catherine Conley, and I am with the Department of Rehabilitation. I am currently in the Student Services Youth team, so I work with 16 to 21 year olds with IEPs 504s, and I assist them with pre-employment transition services and finding work. Thank you.
Next. Okay, how about if I call you out? How about Jessica? Oh, Jessica's the ASL interpreter, sorry. You can say hello, Jessica. How about Leanna?
Hi, my name is Leanna Garrison. I work with Riverside County Office of Education. I'm a teacher for the visually impaired. I'm here for some information and hopefully have some answer any questions and ask some questions.
Nice, nice. Okay, so it looks like Vice President Emma Kitsa is Amesquita is not here. And Danielle's not here. And all right. Kristen, how about you?
Yes, I'm here.
You want to say hi and tell us what you do?
Hi, I'm the program specialist that oversees mild mod programs for secondary in Val Verde Unified School District.
Welcome. Great. Okay, well, we are going to go ahead. I think that's all of our partners, and we'll go ahead and introduce our wonderful DSS team. So say hello, turn off your microphone, turn on your microphone and your camera and say hello, team.
Hi, my name is Laura Coronel, and I am the specialist aide here. I am in charge of the testing center. I assist with outreach and help with the student workers. Hi, Christina is not here. She is our admin, and she is the student's first point of contact. She schedules appointments, she creates the files, and she does the budget.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Melody Savisua. I'm the disability specialist for DSS here at MBC, and I facilitate the accommodations for the students that are registered with us. And I also oversee the department's outreach efforts. And I also wanted to point out, I think we missed one more community partner, Lisa, Sharon Nakama. She's with Moreno Valley Unified, and I see that she's in here, one of the participants. So
Yes, yes, thank you. I
Mhm.
saw her before and then I didn't see her again. Hi,
Thank you.
Sharon. Say
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Melody.
Okay,
My name's Sharon.
hello.
Can you hear me okay?
yes.
My name's Sharon Nakama. I'm the coordinator of special education for the moderate to severe programs and low incidence programs in Moreno Valley Unified School District. And I
Well-
really appreciate being here and meeting all of you because you are all great resources.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Joe, you want to go? Joe, you want to go?
First of all, turn on your mic. Okay, so hello, my name is Joe Gonzalez. I am the Accessible Technology and Media Coordinator. I kind of assist with Braille and training for students for the alternate technologies. And then also, who's not present, Javier Valencia is our senior interpreter / coordinator. So he is the one that would coordinate any kind of interpreting needs, closed captioning, transcribing for the students in class, things along those natures, to introduce Javier as well, who unfortunately is not present. So 2 more staff members here in the office. Thank you.
Ted?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
All right, yes, I'm one of the disability student services counselors here. I myself, as well as Dr. Amber Fertini, who's not present today, but we issue accommodations. We're in the process of doing learning disability testing. We work with incoming students as well as incoming high school students. So we connect with some of the high schools in the area. In addition to that, also transfer related or education planning, we do that as well.
Great. And is there anybody else? Hi, Ricky. You want to say hi?
Yes, hi. I am Ricky. I'm one of the interpreters, and we'll go ahead and switch now.
Thank you both for being here.
Sure.
Okay, well, I'm seeing that our vice president and our dean are unable to get away. And actually, everybody went ahead of the next slide and already shared what they do in our department. So yay, we can skip this one. I did have this kind of cool little thing at the bottom that says our DSS is trilingual. because we are fluent in English, Spanish, and ASL. And I'm just really proud of that. I think that it's nice to be able to welcome people in other languages. Our department's vision and goals are inspired by three forces: the United Nations, which has urged governments, communities, and schools around the world to improve the lives of individuals with disabilities. And we believe that the school's role in that imperative is to increase understanding and awareness, to reduce disability-related stigma, and to empower students who manage disabilities to improve their own lives. And we're embracing disability as human diversity because 1.3 billion people manage at least one significant disability. And most people will have at least some disability in their lifetime. We see disability as a part of being human. And we're also motivated by the California Community College Chancellor's Office mandate to equitize success outcomes for historically underrepresented students, which includes students with disabilities. Our DSS mission is closely aligned to Moreno Valley College's overarching mission to educate and empower our students by providing equitable access to education in service to our communities. Our DSS fulfills MVC's mission to educate, not only to educate our students, but also we plan to extend that education beyond our DSS walls to increase disability understanding for our faculty and staff in order to decrease stigma in the hope that it'll improve retention and success outcomes. We empower our students by recognizing their accomplishments and encouraging them to learn how to use their strengths to support their challenges and to develop their self-advocacy skills. And we provide equitable access to assistive technology, as Joe described, but also by creating a welcoming environment where challenges are normalized and by providing support and resources so they feel like they belong in college. And we serve the community through our community partnerships, but also our service is reflected by the self-actualization of our students who earn certificates, degrees, and transfer and become independent, productive citizens who think critically and contribute to the same social systems and structures that may have previously excluded them or discounted their abilities. Our definition of disability is by law aligned with the ADA, which views disability as impairments or limitations impacting one or more major life activity. In the case of college, that means the life activity is degree or certificate completion. But we believe that the ADA wasn't meant to be the end of our understanding about disability. As shown by the ADAAA, it was meant to be the beginning of access that should lead to equity. And our DSS builds on that definition, motivated by the United Nations imperative to destigmatize disability by increasing awareness and understanding. And we're aligned with the World Health Organization in that we want to normalize disability as human diversity. Our perspective is influenced by 21st century research in critical disability theory, including disability scholar Tom Shakespeare, who identifies as disabled. Shakespeare views disabilities as human predicaments. Predicaments are experiences that an individual may wish to minimize but cannot avoid, like food insecurity, divorce, and financial difficulties. In this view, disabilities are human predicaments that impact the body and or mind. So we view body-mind predicaments as a part of a human spectrum of abilities and naturally occurring diversities that make being human interesting, like race and gender and language and culture. And because magnetic resonance imaging shows that brains are more unique than fingerprints, we believe that all brains are neurodiverse, only some are marginalized because of it. We also think that students who manage body-mind predicaments deserve a supportive team around them but they also require more than just DSS support. And MVC offers a system of support and resources to help students do their best work. Finally, we know that we all have received help along our journey to where we are, and that no one succeeds in life without help. So there shouldn't be any shame in receiving help, because John Lennon had it right. We're all just getting by with a little help from our friends. Like I said, I've only been here for a short time and I'm still acclimating to the college culture, but I think I have a pretty good take on how our department is functioning. As far as our strengths are concerned, we have a highly committed, welcoming, cohesive DSS team who you've met here. And I feel MVC as an institution is invested in this student population's success outcomes. They're intentional in their support. And this isn't the case in every college. I've worked in 5 colleges and not all institutions are as supportive as MVC has been. Also, the team is comfortable and motivated toward outreach and inreach. Our staff has been working hard to communicate our services to outside MVC stakeholders through high school parents and student groups, teachers and counselors, and inside MVC to faculty, tutors, supplementary instructional aides, administrators, tech support, whoever will listen. The weaknesses I've become aware of include enrollment being down from pre-COVID rates in community colleges across the state. And disability support services lost a lot of students due to the online learning environment. It wasn't helpful for some types of body-mind predicaments, although other students have thrived in being able to learn at home. We're also hoping to add a couple of staff members to our team. We're currently don't have a full-time counselor working, and while we have 2 wonderful and committed part-time counselors, both are applying for other positions elsewhere, and so somebody might steal them away this summer. We also don't have a dedicated DSS staff member working at our Ben Clark Engagement Center, and so we need to get somebody over there. We also don't have any educational assistance classes for students who need additional academic support beyond what they can receive from our tutoring and supplemental instructors. But we have some opportunities. I believe that the cultural climate is ripe for us to try to normalize disabilities as human predicaments. And I think this should be a priority for 21st century disability support providers in higher education. Our purpose is not just to keep the college compliant with ADA or even just supporting or empowering students, but it's also about educating our colleagues about disabilities and building new partnerships in the community and within MVC is a great opportunity to fulfill our mission to extend the support and opportunities we can provide for our students. Being part of a 3-college system where I personally can get guidance from the directors at RCC and Norco College is another opportunity. It allows me to grow into the director role with RCCD colleagues that as experienced mentors. And we're looking to change our name from Disability Support Services to something that's less stigmatizing. We may be eliciting your perspective on this, so watch your emails. Oh, also the California Promise is an opportunity for students to attend college for free. Typically, students have to be full-time in order to qualify, but students who manage body-mind predicaments can get a waiver to take less units. And also, I'm a researcher and a lifelong learner, and I plan to continue researching better ways to support our students. And I mean to include our students in the work of finding solutions to how we can improve perceptions, instruction, and support. As far as threats are concerned, that entrenched, stigmatized thinking and ableist learning environments are always a threat. And sadly, higher education is systemically, hierarchically built. And so it's a little bit hard to infiltrate that environment, but I'm determined to do so through education and awareness and engaging our students in that process. And we're also working to improve retention and from year to year and from fall to spring. And the warehouses that are building up Moreno Valley, unfortunately, are also taking some of our students, our potential students, because they can earn money now instead of waiting until after they graduate. And so that also presents a threat. And then we're limited by space. So while we want to grow, we have to be careful how quickly we grow. We are going to be moving into another space next year, but until then, we have to use our space efficiently. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to compile a lot of data before this meeting, but I do know that pre-COVID, although research was showing that the disability population overall was increasing from 2018 to 2020, according to the Chancellor's office, during that same period, the DSS number of registered users was declining. And then in spring of 2020, COVID turned the world upside down, and the numbers reflect a significant decrease, which continued through fall 21, as I said, as we lost a lot of students who weren't comfortable with the online learning environment. But then that began to pick back up when we returned fully to campus. And so far for spring 23, we're showing a bit of a bump, with a higher number of registered students currently than we had before the pandemic. Our program goals for the coming year are to increase understanding and awareness of body-mind predicaments for MVC faculty, staff, and administrators. Our goals moving forward include increasing program participation by 5% per year for the next 3 years, and targeting retention and success rates to increase them by 5%. And I think that strengthening our collaborative relationships with our on-campus and off-campus partners will help us reach our goals and allow us to better serve our hardworking MVC students who manage body-mind predicaments. We also have some upcoming opportunities to connect. Over the last few months, MVC has been opening the campus twice a month on Saturdays to be available to high school students and individuals who are working during the week. And we have a big open house coming up this Saturday on May 6th. There's going to be fun and food and onboarding support. There should be a flyer in the chat if you want to access that. And after graduation, which is on June 9th, our evening hours will be extended for summer, so folks can meet with us in the evening after they get off work. Students who need assistance with registration or completing their online orientation can receive support in our high-tech center. And on May 12th, we plan to celebrate the accomplishments of our graduates and our students who have improved their GPA over the last year as well. We think that it's really important to acknowledge those achievements so that students will feel encouraged to keep trying and to keep pushing through their challenges. And there are opportunities for guided tours through our outreach department. So that's all I've got. Now it's time to hear from our partners. I know Jasmine Medina said you wanted to share a presentation. So we'll start with you and you can share your screen.
Okay, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Medina. I'm with the Department of Rehabilitation. Catherine is my colleague. So both of us, we are with the Inland Empire District out in the Riverside office off of Blaine. So very close to UCR. My coverage area is actually Moreno Valley is like my biggest school district, but I do branch out to Moreno Valley, Paris, Marietta, Menifee, Lake Elsinore, Temecula, and then as well as Catherine, we kind of branch out into that other area. We have Riverside, Corona, Beaumont, Banning. So we're really spread all over the place. But I wanted to share our resources on what we provide with student services. Now I know it can get a little bit confusing because we do have student services and then we do have adult services, but really try to push to get our youth in the student services because we can start as young as 16. And that's what we really want to start getting our students in high school. I know sometimes teachers will say, oh, so they should get started senior year. Yes, that's good, but we really want to get them started younger because we are really preparing them for those next steps when they, go to community college or go into the employment world. So to be be eligible with student services is going to be 16 to 21 or up until their 22nd birthday. They have to be enrolled in an educational program. So high school, community college, Cal State, UC, trade schools, charter schools, and even homeschools. So I have a few students on my caseload that were being homeschooled currently, and we recognize that. They had to have a documented disability, so that can be an IEP or a 504 plan. And we got to sign our students up. And then, so what our main focuses are 5 core services. And in the next slides, I'll go into detail about them all, but it's job exploration counseling, work-based learning experiences, post-secondary education counseling, workplace readiness training, and introduction to self-advocacy. So what is job exploration? We're going to look at what's the trending jobs, what are the hot jobs. We're going to review the career pathways, really check out those in-demand jobs. Now, we want our students to be successful, but at the same time, we don't want to set them up for failure. So we have to be realistic about what their abilities are. At the same time, we want them to find a job that's going to be increasing. So if we have a job that, in the next 5 years is not really going to be increasing, then we might try to say, hey, let's look at different paths because we don't want to discourage them. We still want them to really do what their passion is, what their love is, but we have to be realistic as well. And then we also look at work-based learning experiences. So that can be something like job shadowing, mentorship, informational interviews. So maybe the students will have that opportunity to interview a company. So for example, maybe it's going to be someone in the graphic design world. I don't know anything about it. The most I can do is, PowerPoint, but let's get someone else in there to talk to the students. The students are able to ask them the questions. How long did it take for you to get here? What were your stepping stones? Do you have a disability? And how was that while you were working or going to school? So that is what that work-based learning experiences could look like. We also talk about post-secondary education counseling. So looking at what do we want to do after high school? Do we want to continue with our education? Yes, I know college is not for everyone, and that's okay. But that's where we kind of chime in is, we're not going to school, then we got to work. We got to do something. And so we'll explore community college. If they do have the grades and they have applied, maybe we're going to look at, Cal States or UCs, or even that non-traditional route where it's trade schools, certificate programs, whatever they feel like is going to be best for them. And that's where that job exploration comes in play too. So for example, I had a student that said, well, I don't want to go to school, but I'm going to be a graphic designer. Okay, so let's look at it. We'll pull up a website and it might say, yeah, you might be able to do it, but you're going to start very bottom, entry level. You really have to work with your portfolio and all of that. So and not saying it's not doable, but we still want to give them that faster route because maybe education is not for them. So we look at the different types of education programs. We'll explore FAFSA. And yes, I love that the high schools now have to apply. They help their students apply for FAFSA because that is very helpful. We'll look at and kind of research the type of colleges they want to go to or the college they want to go to. So I know locally we have Moreno Valley Community College, RCC, Mount San Jacinto, San Bernardino Valley College, but maybe they have a very specific program they want. But Moreno Valley doesn't offer it, but San Bernardino Valley does. So we'll look at that and we want to make sure we set them up for success. The next two is that workplace readiness training. So doing those mock interviewing, practicing those customer service skills, getting those soft skills. And that's where that paid work experience can come into play as well. And I'll kind of talk about that a little bit later. And then the next one that we talk about is self-advocacy, learning when to speak, learning and knowing how to speak up for yourselves. We tell the students in high school, who's advocating for you? Everyone on your IEP team, right? When you're at home, who advocates? Parents, siblings, all of that. When you're at work, in the perfect world, if we have a great boss, they're going to advocate for us. But if not, we have to learn how to advocate for ourselves. So learning how to speak up for yourself, learning how to request accommodations. And that's important too, as they transition from high school to college. I've just been in a bunch of IEPs and I tell them, hey, your IEP ends when you graduate. Now you have to bring that golden ticket and say, hey, I'm going to college. I had services and accommodations in high school. Can they continue here? And they have to do that research. I tell them, yes, I'm part of your team, but I'm here to support you, not do everything for you. So teaching them how to speak up for themselves, and even requesting accommodations at work too. I know that could be a little bit scary, but if we are teaching our youth the right things to say, how to approach our managers and all of that, it's just that next step to being independent. And so the referral process is very, very simple. It's our application, and I'll show that after this one as well. So it's a student request form. It's just one page. The top part is demographics. The middle part is where the school can fill out, or in lieu of the school signature or their case carrier signature, that IEP. If I get a copy of that, it has all the information on there as well. Most of our students are minors, so we do need a parent signature, parent or guardian signature, or conservatorship signature as well. And then we always ask for consent forms. So for example, in Moreno Valley School District, I get an application, I get a consent form for the school district, and then I get a consent form if they are trying to do a paid work experience. If our student is 18, I don't need a parent signature, but I'll put in a parent consent form if that student is giving me permission to speak to their parent, guardian, or anything like that. And this is my information on here. I'm trying to remember, there we go. So we are off of Iowa Avenue, very close to UCR. That is my cell phone. I know students will never really return my phone call or check their emails. So my cell phone, I can text on there. So I updated that one. My office line, and then our main office line as well, and our email address, or my email address. I do want to share what our application looks like. That way everyone has that opportunity to kind of see it. Let me pull that one up really quick.
I just want to say thank you for sharing. A lot of times it's hard to know how different community partners fit with the college. And so that was really informative.
Okay, can everyone see my screen right now? We should be looking at a PDF form of the application. So this top part is where the student's demographics is going to go. Please, 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 we want a very active phone number, active email address. I know our students have an email address for school, but let's work on, if they don't have a professional one, let's work on getting that one, because we do send a lot of our correspondence that way. Birthday and social security number. We don't run their social security number. We don't give this information out to anyone. It just makes it easier when they're going to start doing a paid work experience and all of that. We have that in place. This middle section is what I was talking about, where the school, their teacher, their case carrier can fill out. So they can just type in their disability right here, check if they have an IEP or a 504. They can put their school signature, their name. If they don't have that, then the IEP is okay as well. But the more information, the better. School name, the address, and current grade level, that's very important. And then their anticipated expected graduation date. Here is where that's that parent signature. Even if the student's already 18 and the parents want to provide more information as far as like a second phone number, a second email address, that's okay. And students just sign and date, sign and date. One-page application, very, very simple. The second page is just usually their notice and privacy statement. And I'm going to show you our consent form. So this is our consent form. On the left, you'll always see the entity that we're asking for permission to speak to. So in this case right here, Moreno Valley Unified School District, this is where the student would just put in their name. So Jane Doe, social security number, and then their date of birth, and sign and date. Very, very simple. We try to make it as easy as possible. So this section right here might change. It might say parent consent. It might say Moreno Valley Community College. It might say San Bernardino Valley College, or sometimes if we're trying to support them, maybe they need to, like their medical provider, we'll put that in there. So this will always be something different, but all students will just put their information right here, name, address, birthday, sign and date. Very, very simple. Does anyone have any questions about our application or the services that we can provide?
I have a quick question. I saw IEP and 504 plan on there. Would they use that for college, even though we don't use IEPs? Would they write other or something?
Yeah, they can write other. So sometimes what happens is if they previously had one, we're recognizing, oh, they had one in the past and they're trying to continue their services. That's the way I've been telling our students is that's your golden ticket. You know, that's the one that's going to say, yes, we've recognized that you've had accommodations or you have a disability, it's diagnosed, all of that. So there's other ways.
But if it was a student who never used DOR before college, and we have academic accommodation plans, we don't have IEPs, would they select IEP and you would see that as an AAP, or would they?
Yeah, so whatever you're utilizing at, what did you say yours was called there?
AAP.
AAP. So yes, they would just kind of, they can fill it out in there or in that form. Let me pull it up again.
So I didn't see other. I saw IEP, 504, and something else, medical or school signature. Yeah.
School signature. So even right here, even if they just want to write in their diagnosis, that's fine. And what's most likely going to happen if, say, they've never had DOR services and now they are starting at the community college and you're connecting them to us, you know, we'll just have that conversation and then we'll move forward from there. But it's usually they'll have a conversation with the counselor, but what you guys have, which is AAP, right? Yes, that should be okay.
Lisa, what does AAP stand for?
Academic Accommodation Plan. So there's a few pretty significant differences between how disabilities are supported in high school compared to how they're supported in college. And so because high schools, professors, teachers have to modify instruction, or they're allowed to modify instruction, the individualized education plan is used, but in college, teachers don't have to modify instruction. They don't have to give extra time for assignments or say you can do part of the assignment instead of the whole assignment, anything like that. And so we use an academic accommodation plan. We're under the California Community College Chancellor's Office. We're not under, and Title V, we're not under the IDEA. And so it's a little different. And I saw Dean Avila. Did you want to say hi, Dean Avila, before we?
Yes, hello. I'm so sorry I hopped on and hopped off. I oversee a number of student services areas. One is conduct, and so my conduct and grievances. So my schedule can be one way in the morning, and then something can happen, and it changes its course. So I deeply apologize for not being here with you the first 20 to 30 minutes. I think it might have been longer, maybe 40 minutes. I apologize. But I'm Brandy Avila, and I'm the Dean of Student Development and Wellness here. And DSS is one of the areas that I have the opportunity to support, in addition to a number of other student services areas. So thank you so much for being here and taking the time out of your very busy days, I'm sure, just to come in community together for us to really collaborate and find out how best we can continue to serve our student population. So thank you.
Thank you. I see Michael Peterson next on my little group of pictures. So Michael, do you want to go?
Sure.
Or, I'm sorry, does anybody have any questions for Jasmine?
And what I can do in the chat box, I'll put a copy of that PDF. That way you guys already have access to that one. That's usually that same presentation I give to the students, to the parents, if I ever meet with them. Very clear, short, straight to the point. And they can always contact me if they have any other questions.
Great. It's great to know who our contact person is at DOR. It's really good to know. Okay, Dean Peterson.
Oh, thank you. Executive director, not a dean, but we'll see where the future takes me.
When I
So
said Dean, I was like, I don't think that's
no, we're good. We're good. So I am the executive director for adult education and community initiatives. I put a link in the chat there so you guys can get a better sense of what I do. So largely what I do is I support the extended learning program here. That's at Riverside City College, Moreno Valley College, Norco College. And we offer non-credit classes. So a lot of these are CTE. We do offer things. Jasmine actually was excited maybe to talk with you a little bit because we do offer like business boot camps, customer relations classes, and these are non-credit. So they are taught by, college professors. They're taught on campus or in an online format. And, they are non-credit courses. So it's a great opportunity for students to get a taste of that college environment. But they don't have to worry about necessarily, having, getting a grade that reflects badly on their transcript because, the non-credit courses don't count towards a GPA. They're also infinitely repeatable. So if a student wanted to take a class, they could take it once, twice, 3 times, as many times as they wanted to in order to get what they wanted from that class. So if you see anything on there, that interests you, please, by all means, encourage folks to take it because they're great classes. We've had a huge increase in the number of non-credit students over the last year or so. And, a big reason why I'm here today is because non-credit is also an opportunity for us to offer non-credit classes specifically for students with disabilities. And that's something that, soon to be Dr. Yates and I are really, really excited about because, there's a lot. We both visited North Orange Continuing Education together. Lisa was able to set up a really awesome meeting with College of the Desert to talk about the non-credit classes that they have at their institution. Everything from just a transitions course to the 2 social skills courses that they have. So, is it officially Dr. Yates now? Are we official? Are we official yet? Yeah. Essentially,
I was going to say, maybe he's not counting it until after I graduate.
did you? Was
I
there?
did. I
You were
defended.
successful. Oh,
Yeah.
Dr. Yates.
Yeah.
Dr. Yates all day long. All right,
you.
beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you, Dean Avila.
Yeah. But essentially, we've got a really great opportunity here. And, one thing that I'm really determined to do is to use the non-credit platform in order to, offer classes like these to our students. Now, I'm an administrator, so I can't do it alone. So what I really need is the support of faculty because they lead the curriculum. So I will continue going around and whispering into people's ears and telling them, please, please, please develop non-credit courses. Look, here's some non-credit courses, copy and paste. Just, let's do this, and also I'm very much looking forward to any feedback that I can get from this particular group as to what they think would be, most valuable for you know, for their clients, their students, however you put the in the parlance of your particular profession. But non-credit is what I do, and developing non-credit classes for students with disabilities is something that's on my big bucket list. It's something that I really feel is very important that we do. Yeah, so that's my piece. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Yeah, we're currently in the brainstorming stages and hoping to have a plan pretty soon. And Inland Regional would be someone we could talk to about that. Jasmine, students who use Inland Regional services don't qualify for services at DOR, is that correct?
Oh, no, they do. We partner
Okay.
with the Inland Regional Center. Yes.
Okay.
So if a student is approaching you and they do have Inland Regional Center, we usually ask IRC to send us a referral as we continue with them. Yes. So we work together.
Yeah, I thought you did. And then I was like, wait, I think there's a difference because my nephew uses Inland Regional, but he doesn't use DOR. And I don't know why.
Tell them to call us and we got to see what we can do for him.
Yeah. So is Beth here? I think there was someone from Inland Regional.
We have someone from Inland Regional here.
They put it in the
looks
chat. They said,
Yeah.
hi, IRC here.
Okay. Did you want to say a few words? Can't seem to get my mic. Okay, to work.
I was going to say something that Beth Crane is our adult transition Inland Regional Center contact. She's a great resource.
She was going to be here and then we changed the day and she couldn't be here, but she said she was going to send somebody else. And I don't have the name up on my computer.
It looks like they just logged off. Maybe they're going to try to log back on to get the mic to work.
Okay.
That's my assumption. But yeah.
That'd be a great resource for us,
Hello?
for Michael and I. Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
It's
Yay.
Regional Center. How are you guys?
Good.
Good. I apologize. My mic was kind of giving me an issue, so I do apologize. And I joined a little bit late, so I fully apologize for that.
That's okay. We're glad to have you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. I did hear a question about Regional Center and DOR. We definitely do work with DOR. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So Michael and I, one of our biggest battles, internal battle, I guess, I don't know, battle is probably the wrong word, but frustrations is that we don't have anything, you know, everybody in high school, even not everybody in high school should go to college, but at some point everybody thinks about going to college, right? And for that population of students who don't have that cognitive ability that is required to succeed in ableist classrooms, you know, they want an opportunity to be able to say, I went to college too. And that North Orange County program is awesome because students with all kinds of abilities can take classes. So I'm really happy to be joining with Michael Peterson to try to get something together here, and maybe we can work with you as well.
Perfect. Yes, absolutely. And I'm sorry I missed the first half of the meeting, so I'm hoping maybe there might be minutes or something that I can read through to get caught up eventually. But yes, please.
Sharon asked if I would share the slides, and absolutely, I'll make sure you get them as well.
Fantastic. I appreciate that.
I have a
And we're recording
question.
the meeting.
Oh,
recording the
it's
meeting.
being recorded. That's true.
Oh,
Thank
okay, great.
I forgot.
I didn't catch your name from Inland Regional. What is your name?
I'm Amira Abdel.
Amira.
Yes.
Amira, thank you for being here. I have a question for you. I'm familiar with Harbor Regional because I was born and raised in like the South Bay area. So that's our regional center. And I was just wondering if you can go over for us some of the services that you might highlight for that you all offer in Inland Regional.
Oh, of course. So our services span from many different things. A lot of them have to do with age appropriateness also. So I work in transition, and in transition, we provide services such as ILS, which is independent living services, SLS is supported living services. The difference between the two, ILS is a little bit more independent. So we are able to, different vendors come into the home and help with budgeting, minor things around the home. Supported is fully hands-on to help if the consumer eventually wants to move out. We're fully helping them learn how to budget, how to do laundry, how to cook, clean, all of it, pay their bills. So we provide those. We provide personal assistance. So like if they want to go to college, it's somebody that's literally there with them, shadowing them. If they need to help taking notes, getting from class to class. Day programs, so it's somewhere they can go to spend the day, do different fun activities with peers. We also provide social rec services, opportunities to be in the social and community environment. We provide, we're unlimited. We provide a lot of things. Those are just a few things though. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And one of the things that in my time in the California community college system, and especially when I was at Fullerton College, a lot of our students had personal care aides who would assist them when I was like in the transfer center. The aide would be there, not always in the appointment, but like in the center or what have you, because some of our students were learning to drive a car or, just build some more independent skills, and they were there to help them along the way. And so I know that there were a few students that requested a personal care aide. I don't know who was working. I don't remember if it was Melody or Joe, or if we all talked about this, because there was a different form, like a form that students needed to use and that sort of thing. So I wasn't sure. I know not all students with a care aide come through the Inland Regional Center, but I know that had been like one of the biggest support systems that I've seen in the last 11 plus years at the regional center appropriate for the school that I was at. Yeah.
Right. A lot of these services are hugely, popular amongst, and each consumer has their different needs, right? So,
sure.
And with DOR, we refer to DOR for job placement. So DOR was really fantastic with helping them find the appropriate job. They help with all kinds of things, interviewing skills, literally everything under the sun. So
sure. Thank you.
One of the things that's kind of a growing trend to kind of fill that need, because there are the students who, like you said, have abilities that will make being in college more challenging, but then they're the ones who have learned, your independent living skills, but still are having some social challenges, especially with being around young women, right? And so some colleges are starting like peer mentor and coaching kind of programs where someone isn't a care provider, but they're just like, hey, this is how you do this, and this is how you make a friend, and this is how you navigate the matriculation, and a little more hands-on than an SI or tutor, but a little less hands-on than Inland Regional, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of a nice transition position to have, to be able to offer.
Yes, absolutely. And as the years, go by, we enhance our services even more to fulfill specific needs. And so we've come a long way, even in the last 8 months. We developed our social rec program and our stipend program. So that's also really cool, where, the family can take the consumer out wherever it is. It's as long as it's a social activity, and we pay $100 a month. That's the stipend. So if the mom wants to take, I don't know, Johnny to a fancy restaurant and teach him how to, eat in a fancy restaurant with the utensils and whatnot, they can do that. We offer those supports. So she just turns in her receipt, we refund them the meal, and that's how that works.
Are you in San Bernardino?
I'm in Riverside. Our headquarters is San Bernardino. Yeah. But I work with Riverside Transition, and we cover, all of Riverside. I specifically cover the lower desert.
Okay. I thought there was San Bernardino, and it just spiraled out of all the different places.
Yeah, we cover
My
both
nephew, I'm familiar with San Bernardino because my nephew has used Inland Regional and San Bernardino.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad to know there's a Riverside one. That's really cool.
Yeah, we have a Riverside office as well, so we cover both counties.
I have a question for students with visual impairments, and they might need like a campus. Oh, I'm sorry, my cat just scratched me. A campus tour. Who would be would it be a DOR or IRC that we would be contacting, or the school for those types of things? Because when we transition from high school to college, usually RCOE O&M instructors might be able to, but then like after that one first year, their classes change. So I was just wondering who I could contact for that stuff.
It is my understanding that that would come through the school. Yeah.
So we have an outreach department that schedules all of our tours. And then if you needed someone to be an aide with the student once you've scheduled it with the outreach department, either usually they bring somebody with them, or if they have a DOR or some account or something like that, they could. Once they're a student, then we can also support in the colleges I've been in before. Usually we will assist the student with learning the campus if they have a severe vision impairment, like for the first week or so. But then if they need a personal care aide, they need to have someone with them.
And then I wanted to chime in because I know I didn't mention that, but yes, DOR, Leanne, you brought up a good question about like if someone was visually impaired or deaf and hard of hearing. So DOR at our Riverside office, we do have a team for the deaf and hard of hearing and blind field services. So we have specialties there as well. Yeah.
I think you and I are going to be talking a lot.
Yes. And then they do have it within student services too. So each counselor in, like, for example, in our blind field services, which we just shorten it BFS, all these acronyms, but there is a specific counselor that would work with student services. And then same thing with the deaf and hard of hearing, there would be a counselor specifically who would work within student services.
And
go ahead.
I was just going to say, to use our services, they do have to be enrolled in the college and registered with our department.
And then keep in mind, not all offices have their like specialty counselors, but I will speak for Riverside office, we do. And they are in person and virtual as well.
And does that Riverside office do the whole Riverside County? So if we had students from different cities?
Yes, and then I know Temecula, there is a counselor there that is, because sometimes those counselors are actually in other offices as well, just like how I'm spread out, they're spread out too. But they usually try to have at least like one specialty counselor in each office. So I know Temecula does have a counselor that is under blind field services as well.
Can I just chime in to what Jasmine was saying? So Jasmine and I have worked together for the past 2 or 3 years now, and she's been our representative from Moreno Valley, and she's done an absolutely amazing job with her partner, Angelina Walker, in helping us build the amount of our kids who connected. We're very thankful. And Leanne, I was going to say, we've even been able to reach out to DOR to have the VI specialists come to our district and speak to our staff before. They're so wanting to connect kids. And so that's been the wonderful thing working with Department of Rehab. But I was going to say, just as a personal experience, and I share this with a lot of people, because people don't realize how valuable DOR is. But I have 3 sons that are deaf, and Department of Rehab paid for their entire college education. And my second son right now is at Gallaudet University, starting his master's program on the 15th, and everything's paid for. I'm still in shock about it. But then they also have my third son who has autism, also struggled with college, but ended up getting DOR support and got a job coach. They helped him with the job interview, got him connected with FedEx. So he's worked at FedEx for the past 5 years, and they were all helpful throughout college. So parents need to know about this, students need to know about this. And it's very frustrating when you find out, meet a person, especially like in our district. I met a principal who had a child with a disability and paid full tuition up to $70,000 for her tuition, her daughter's tuition, not realizing Department of Rehab could have assisted her. And it's about getting the word out. So I appreciate that Jasmine's here and her other colleague and stuff. But I was going to go back and just make a comment about what Michael was offering in regards to the supports for people with cognitive challenges and being able to offer non-credit college courses at the community college is wonderful. Something that we at Moreno Valley have always wanted to try to connect with the colleges, maybe having a transition age class, 18 to 22-year-old class at Moreno Valley College. And life goes by so quickly and there's so much to do in the education system, K through 12, but just meeting the both of you, Dr. Yates and Michael, I think that might be something we could talk about, maybe, I don't know, before the end of the year or something. I'd love to meet with you. I'm the coordinator. I oversee mod severe programs and our adult transition program. And we've got a couple teachers there that are eager to want to see something like that happen. So just a thought. And a great director who, our executive director, Jason Ramirez. And I don't know if you know Dr. Kedzior, our superintendent, but he's very innovative, wanting to do innovative things. So I'm sure it's a possibility. Anything's possible, right?
Riverside County, we need this. We really do. And when I was at MSJC, I had prepared a proposal and I had a connection at DOR and we were like, wanting to do it and get it going. And it kind of fizzled because MSJC wasn't ready for it. And so when I came here, and I mean, I've only been here a little while, but somehow Michael and I connected. Oh, I think the director at RCC got us together, and it's been on my heart. The reason I went back to school to get my doctorate was because I wanted to start a program for students in that middle space, right? That college says, higher education says isn't for you, but we don't know what people can do unless we give them the tools to see what they can do and make those tools accessible and teach in a way that they and assess in a way that they can express what they know, right? And that's what we don't do. And so I was really excited. I'm sure that I can't see Michael right now, but I'm sure he's smiling.
Oh yeah, can you hear it? Can you?
I can.
You feel the smile coming out through there?
Yeah, Sharon, we're going to hit you up for sure.
And there's something else that I talked to our director of HR with about. It's something on the side, but it's related to disabilities. Is we have a huge shortage of instructional assistants in our school systems nationally. I would love to work with you guys if thinking about creating a credential or a certificate, whether it's a 20-hour on teaching someone to prepare to become an instructional assistant, which is a wonderful position to have while either you're a homemaker or either a person going to college, putting themselves through school. An instructional assistant position is an awesome job, but they come to us with no experience at all. We've been talking about wanting to do like a 20-hour course for them on ABA, applied behavior analysis, learning how to be professional in the classroom, simple things like that can totally help them apply for a position as an instructional assistant. That was my research on my doctorate, was the instructional assistant in the classroom, working effectively with the mod severe teacher. So maybe we can get together later, Lisa.
Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to just also say about kind of piggybacking off of the DOR helping other people. I am a DOR success story. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I do think you mentioned the homemaker. I was a displaced homemaker, what are we going to do with her? Like, who had fibromyalgia and couldn't get a job, even though I had a bachelor's degree, and DOR sent me back to school and got me. I don't think I would have considered going back to school even. So I probably wouldn't even have a PhD now if they hadn't put me on that path. So it really is a really important service to our community. And yeah, I would love to partner with DOR, IRC, the high schools. This is awesome.
I think with I've only been a teacher for students with visual impairment for about 5 years, but when I first started, there was a lot of, well, if your student can't do this, then we're not really going to
Yes.
DOR thing, you know what I mean? And that is kind of how it went. And so I'm glad to hear that there are these student service programs and all these different outreaches, because when I first started, it was very, yeah, just apply, but if they're not going to go to college, then there's not really a point in it. That was kind of like the stigma when I first started as a TSVI. So I'm glad that's kind of why I'm so excited to be here, because I just wanted to hear all these things that our students have, because I feel like a lot of my students with visual impairments, they don't see themselves going past high school. And that's very sad, even for the ones that maybe have a cognitive impairment as well. Like they just, oh, well, I'm blind and I can't, and I'm not as smart as everybody else. And then so these things that you guys are telling me is just, makes me excited. It makes me excited for my field in the future.
I have a very good friend who used to be a student who is totally blind. He lost both of his eyes when he was 1.5 years old. And he and I have become buddies. We text each other all the time. And he's graduating right now from Cal State San Bernardino with a degree in strategic communications. And I am just so proud of him. And he loves to talk to other blind people. So if you want somebody to encourage and motivate, let me know.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah.
We're trying
and talk.
Trying as a RCOEVI group to try to get our kids more linked up with people, with even just their own community, because they're so spread out throughout Riverside County. We might have one student who's blind in Lake Elsinore and another one in Valverde, and they never get to connect or anything. So I love being able to let's bring some people in and let's make a camp, like a summer day camp or something. It would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be cool. I had this event at MSJC called Beyond the Cover Living Books, where students with disabilities would talk about their life experiences living and learning with a disability. And Cameron, my friend who's blind, was one of my first living books. And we just, after the first year, I presented on the event at CAPED, which is the California Association for Post-Secondary Education with Disabilities. And I invited Cameron and another student who had a learning disability to present with me. And his mother came with him. And I just remember she came up to me at one moment, just crying. It was like the end of it was almost over. And she said, her world had become so isolated because it just surrounded him and his, needs. And I mean, he had 5 brothers. He used to jump off the balcony into the pool, completely blind. So she was a tough cookie, but she was crying and crying. She said, just being in that environment with so many people, some of whom were blind, some of whom were deaf, some were using wheelchairs. And she said, I just never knew there were this many people with disabilities, because her world was, him. And so I think it's really, really important for people without disabilities to hear from people with disabilities, but also for people with disabilities to hear from each other. There's so much diversity. Yeah. This is awesome. Talking to like-minded people.
I think Riverside County, we're trying to pull a grant together where we do like a summer AT camp. So keep your fingers crossed, because if that happens, we're going to be sending some stuff out to people, because there's so much more AT. It's not just those big dinosaur TVs anymore. They've got everything. And so, you know, we want them to be able to use all of this. So hopefully keep your fingers crossed that that happens.
I will say this about blind students, though, there are some things that are extremely challenging in higher education as it currently exists. Cameron wanted to be, he wanted to be a disc jockey when I first met him, and it made sense because it's sound, right? But the board that he had to learn for broadcasting had all these hundreds of channels and was extremely visual. And, you know, I went to the broadcasting instructor and I was like, we got to make this happen. How can we make this happen? And it was, in this current climate, there just wasn't a way. And so then we talked about, well, and this is what a great counselor can do. Not that I was a great counselor, but a good counselor can do is, well, what do you like about it? Well, I like talking to people. Oh, what about communications? You know, and so he went down a different path, and he's totally, the plan was that he was going to do communications and then find a school that would help him get into radio without having to use his eyes to see. But he loves communication. So that's pretty cool. It's good.
That is awesome. And that is something that I think, again, this is why I'm trying so hard to do this transitions, because we're not getting that out of our high schoolers. We're getting maybe one or two answers. Oh, maybe I kind of want to do this. And we're not getting it. We're not able to like pull all that out of them. Like, okay, well, what do you like? Well, let's find these things. And I'm not to say, but you know, we're all busy. We all have these over tremendous caseloads. So sometimes, you know, and that's what I'm trying to like, I want to fill that gap in for our students, because I rarely see, at least since I've been here again, I rarely have seen any VI students go past high school. And I would like to see that stop. I would like to see more. I'd like to see them be encouraged and okay, well, let's find this and let's see what we can do. And so
well, all of their books can be converted to Braille if they know Braille. Joe is really well versed at that. And also we have Dragon, Naturally Speaking, and a lot of other, for students who are vision impaired but not totally blind, we have magnifiers and color overlays for students who need that. There, you know, we can be creative in how we support students, but I don't know. I just think that everybody should be given the opportunity to dream, right? And to pursue dreams.
I agree.
There was just a huge conference up in Sacramento, I think it was, the CTEVI conference.
Up in San Francisco, yeah, the CTBVI. I think 4 of us got to go.
Oh,
4 of us got to go. But yeah, it's great information, and they have a lot of new things. And so what I kind of like is a lot of us newer teachers at Riverside County, we've kind of were in the program as everything was kind of evolving. So we're kind of already like, so now it's just a matter of getting everything else out there and to everybody else. Like I like to call them the old schooler TSVIs, because they don't understand the technology and they don't understand all these new things. So that's again something that we're trying to reach out to our old school ones.
Yeah, well, that's the value of a community college with a disability support program who has a specialist who can help students learn the technology, right?
Yes, definitely.
Right, Joe?
Yeah, definitely. To kind of support your desire to make sure that the students come to college, to transfer to university, to get that doctorate. In the past, I can think of 5 students off the top of my head that were either blind or low vision that graduated and transferred or held jobs. I've even had one of the blind students with their guide dog get on a bus, get on the train, and go to work while they were attending school here in LA. They went all the way to Union Station. and I can barely do that. So super inspiring. So just to let you know, it has happened, it will continue to happen, and I look forward to seeing the students
I just
at
want
the community
more.
college to do that.
I just want more. I know it sounds so bad, but I just want more. I want them all. I want all of our students to be able to know that there is something out there for them, not just. I've just, from my personal experience, like I said, I've only done it for about 5 years, but I have seen a lot of my students just kind of be like, well, this is what my life is, you know, and I want to change that. So anything that I can do to support my students, please reach out to me. Like, we're missing this. These are what our students are coming to the schools or our colleges or DOR, IRC, and they're missing this, this, and this. And this takes the process so much longer. Just reach out to me so that way I can kind of push this further with Riverside County, because we have a lot of students all over, and I would like to see the transition from high school to college be a little bit smoother, and so that our students know that this has happened and this is going to continue to happen, and we're going to be here to support you for that.
Yeah. We missed a slide for some reason. Melody was going to talk about what we want our students to know. Right, Melody? Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. And but I mean, it's fine. What everyone's been discussing is exactly what we want the students to know, that there are opportunities there for them. DSS is here on the MBC campus to help them, to give them their support, to show them how to advocate for themselves. And Leanna, we're currently doing our outreach. We've been visiting a lot of schools in Moreno, MVUSD and Valverde Unified School District. So I'm definitely going to reach out to you. We can talk about like which seniors are kind of looking at coming to MVC, RCC, or even Norco. So we can help them with that transition, just depending on what program they want to be a part of. We can get them there. So I'm definitely going to contact you. I'll email you before I leave this evening. And so we can talk tomorrow.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
And I think one thing that I just really like for students to know is the research shows that using accommodations really do make a difference. And a lot of students, when I was a counselor, would come to me after they'd been here for a year, right? And they decided, yeah, I had an IEP all through high school and even before, but I don't need that. I didn't think I needed that anymore. And then, the college classroom is extremely fast paced, much faster than it was in high school. And then of course there's no modification, no extended time for assignments. And then they come in after their GPA has gone down and they're like, okay, I guess I need it. But there's so many studies. I saw this one young woman, I need to find this video, but it was a study with students talking about how accommodations help them. And she said she thought she didn't need it anymore. Then she started using, and she said it was like putting on glasses. Like that was the way she described accommodations. It just made me feel like everything was clear, even just having extra time to complete an assignment or using the assistive technology so that your brain isn't having to use so much mental energy to support the distractions of ADHD or mental health challenges or vision, having to really focus in and get headaches and all of that. It's just accommodating, supporting the natural ability that's already there, not so much the disability. In my mind, that's kind of how I see accommodation, supporting the natural, because people who don't have these challenges don't need that extra support, but they're not smarter. It's just, they don't need the glasses,
And I think one thing that's interesting to me, and I know the team knows this because I've talked about it since I started here at Moreno Valley College, is the fact that some students may not know that their differences or the way that they learn or what they're experiencing in the classroom K through 12 may not be supported by SPED or a certain program in K through 12, but they can, or they may be able to, if documented, receive those accommodations in college. And I think that's also a bridge that we have a task to build and bring students across, because some students might be living with anxiety or X, Y, Z, and it really does have an impact on the way they engage with the learning materials and in the classroom. I know a big one is students with dyscalculia, like those sorts of things that are not always diagnosed right away, but then when students come to college, that is like a number one reason why students leave, right? It's not being able to pass the core classes, the Golden Four, if they're going to a Cal State, looking to go to a Cal State University, they have to pass the Golden Four. And math is like a huge barrier. And not every student will have a documented diagnosis of dyscalculia, but there could be other things, right? And if they weren't necessarily identified in K through 12, because there's also a lot of intersectional identities and things like that in terms of diversity and equity, where folks may be labeled and tracked under for discipline and not as having a disability. So I just want to bring awareness around that as well. There's a huge racial disproportionality around how some students are given additional support, certain IEPs that are accurate, with accurate individualized plans and things in place, and some that aren't, and who get put out into a non-public private, and like all of these things, and isolated from the general population. Those students also now have a negative relationship with education, and or think, okay, like I really struggled in high school, but I wasn't in SPED, so where do I fit? I'm not smart enough, I'm not all those things, but they may not have necessarily a diagnosis at that moment. And this is sometimes where those students explore what additional supports they need. And so I just wanted to bring awareness around there. There's a lot of folks and students and community members who may qualify for an accommodation who didn't qualify necessarily for certain programs K through 12.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. In the 5 colleges that I've worked in, the ones in the better zip codes tended to have so many more resources, students coming from high school to college. They had their challenge identified in triplicate from doctors, psychologists, and I was a learning disability specialist. And so part of what I did as a learning disability specialist was I assessed students for IQ, and then you compare their IQ to their achievement scores. And if their IQ is here and their achievement score is here, then there's a discrepancy. And so it suggests that there's a learning disability. But in too many schools, they don't have people to assess for the learning disability. And in California, certain populations cannot legally be assessed for IQ. So if you can't be assessed for IQ, you can't determine that there's a learning disability. And so you end up putting that person in behavioral, emotional disorder, or, some random
emotional disturbance is the huge one. It's like, what is emotional disturbance, right?
Exactly. Then if they could have been assessed, they could have been diagnosed with ADHD, or they could have been diagnosed with a dyslexia. But huge disparity in between zip codes. And I think community college is an awesome place if you have a diagnosis that you've been managing for quite a while, to learn how to self-advocate and how to support your strengths with your weaknesses. Support your weaknesses with your strengths, but also if you don't have a diagnosis, like Dean Avila said, like this is the place to explore it and figure it out, and it's free.
And the adult education courses will absolutely 100% help. I served on the enrollment task management as the lead with Dean Eric Anthony for adult education. And we have a lot of work to do here at Moreno Valley College. in adult education, but we really see that that could be a pathway for students to experience college without the pressures of a grade. And if they can be successful there, they may want to start exploring with the counselor, a certificate, transfer, like all of those things. And you see that. I also worked in North Orange County. I worked at Fullerton College for 7 years. And so we had a lot of students bridge over from NOCE into Fullerton College. And then they would land to me for transfer, and we had a math substitution. I was telling Lisa this, we had a math substitution. And so I was like, okay, this is the school, let's go Cal State Long Beach. I know it's a hard campus to get into, but they have a very developed in the first Cal State with the disability support services. So they were already ahead of the game. So we kind of knew our roads to how we got students in and how we got them placed in their appropriate bachelor's degree program to prepare for upper division transfer. And that's not the same at each university. And our UCs have a lot of work to do in their accommodations and things like that. But I do think that adult education, we really fare to grow here at Moreno Valley College with adult education. But I think it's just such a wonderful pathway into college, because it's intimidating whether you have a disability or not. If you come from a disadvantaged background or a minoritized community, like college is like, I don't know if I can do it, and there may be pressure to do it and all of these things, but especially if you do manage a disability. So I appreciate all of you being here and having this very meaningful conversation, and I hope we do stay connected beyond these moments so that we can talk about the actions that we've engaged in to put these supports in place. And I am an optimist, but I'm also realistic. I know that this is not going to happen overnight, but just continue to foster these relationships, I think, can really help us all do better by our student population.
Yeah, one of the goals for Riverside County, right, the Teachers for the Visually Impaired, is to really work on the ECC goals, so the expanded core curriculum. And that's all that, preparedness, self-advocacy, self-determination, because right now it seems like we're just all focused on curriculum. How do they get it? Let's get them access. How are they going to learn? But then we are lacking on, what are your accommodations? Who can you ask for your accommodations, while you're in, because right now it's just being handed to them. So then when they get to college, they're like, I don't even know what they are, so that's something that we're lacking as well. So that's, again, we have a lot to work on too. So that's our plan.
Something you said earlier, I was going to talk about and I forgot, but not just for students with vision impairments, students who have been using special education in K through 12 and have had all this support, right? They get to college or they get out of high school, they may not even come to college, and they're just kind of, everything drops off, like the support is gone. And if they don't know that there is support at the college, they might think that this isn't a place for them. And so many students with autism and a lot of other challenges end up becoming obese, and because they're just sitting on the couch and they don't have purpose, right? And then they develop health problems. And so studies have shown that that's a cycle that a lot of students who have had support in K through 12 fall into, because the support drops off. And then their parents are like, well, I've had all this support. Where is it? What am I going to do now? Johnny wants to play video games all day. And so we've got to have that bridge, that transition thing, because everybody needs purpose, right?
One of the struggles that we have in the districts is we have a lot of parents that want to have one-to-ones for their children. This is a huge concern. And so when they get to 12th grade, they still have the one-to-one, and then they're done with school, the student doesn't have that independence that they need. And if they're not one-to-one, yeah, and if they're college bound, we really need to work harder on that. on weaning off the one-to-one, fading them off and so forth. So.
And if we had a transition program like that phrase college bound, like who's college bound? Only people who the colleges, the only people who can keep up with the pace of college, right? But we need to have a transition program for students who, and that's what Michael and I have been talking about, who aren't quite ready for that college pace, but still have a right to dream and still have a right to try. So, and our colleges have gone farther away. When I started in 2016, we had developmental English, developmental math. And when community college started, it started as an extension of high school. That was the vision when California started community college, that it would be an extension of high school, grades 13 and 14. And now it's junior college to get you transferred, So we've lost a lot. Yeah. Anybody else? I know you're thinking, Michael.
Oh, I'm just, I'm really looking forward to seeing what we could do. Just to give a little personal background on this. I also have a son with autism, and so, a lot of this when I came here. So I in my former life, I was in Colorado, and I was overseeing ESL and high school equivalency programs. And when I came here and I saw all the things that we could be doing with non-credit, and I saw that disability services were one of those things, I thought, okay, like I was meant to be here, so I could do something with this. So I'm really looking forward to working with everybody here to see what we can do and what we can bring to the community and what we can bring to people to help them be more successful in their college journey or their career journey or wherever they want to go. That's where we need to be, is supporting those folks.
So we need grants and we need money because I really do believe there's such a desert right now for this population that I really do believe that if we build it, they will come, right? We need space, we need money, we need curriculum, we need dedicated people who are in it for the long haul. So how can we continue this? Should we, Michael and I meet once a month. Does anybody here want to join us?
I'll join you.
I would love an invite. If I can make it, I will, but I can't promise that I'd be able to come every month, but I would love an invite.
Well, honestly, I haven't been able to come every month either. We're supposed to meet once a month, but our schedules don't always align.
Yes,
count me in on that one too for DOR.
And then if I find any other TSVIs that are available, would I be able to ask them? Because some, they work in Marietta, some of them work in, I know you're in Moreno Valley, but that way we could maybe get some information from you guys and reach out to the other kind of cities that are surrounding. Because
what does TSVI mean?
TSVI is teacher for students with visual impairment.
Oh, okay.
So they just changed it. It was TVI and now it's TSV.
Yeah.
I'm also going to recommend to include, and I'll type her email in it. It's Vivian Chang. She's our mild moderate coordinator. So she works with all the kids with an IEP or that are in gen ed or resource programs or mild moderate programs. She would be an excellent person to be a part of this.
I really think my principal coordinator would really like to be a part, just because she always has questions and it might be a good person for point of contact too.
All right, Michael, I'm going to send you all these names so you can add to the list.
Surprise.
It's good. The more the merrier, absolutely. And the other good thing is if we get something going at MVC, it's very easy for that to then spread to Norco and RCC as well.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
What we need to do is start a pilot program, and when you're talking about someone with a vision impairment, the target population, I think, that we were talking about is that cognitively impaired, maybe shady 80s, up to shady 80s. That's what they call them in high school, sorry. You know, when it comes to if we're talking about IQ, like mid 70s to mid 80s. And so I know that you mentioned someone with a vision impairment who also has a cognitive challenge, right? Because someone with a vision impairment who doesn't have a cognitive challenge, we can already support them with the accommodations that we have, right?
Yes, we have. I mean, there are, I wouldn't say a lot, but there are quite a few who, because of their visual impairment, they tend to have a learning disability as well that comes with it. So that tends to be hand in hand sometimes with our students. I have found that although, and then even socially, like, you know, they're just not socially ready for college either.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think you just enrolled one of our students who exited from our special education adult transition program and enrolled into Moreno Valley College, and he had a intellectual disability. So I'm imagining students at that level that could take 0 credit or classes.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you right now, I can think of 2 or 3 students who are currently struggling because their parents want them to go to college, or they want to go to college, but they don't have the social skills to, you know, interact with people in a way that's socially appropriate. And some parents at every college I've been at just drop their kids off, you know, because they want them to be somewhere. And yeah.
Something I was thinking also of, because we have the adult transition program, it would be so cool to see that we write it in IEP that they can go maybe part day to our action adult transition program, and then part day over there and take a couple courses with instructional assistant support, because if it's during their 6-hour school day, we can have our aides go with them. It's kind of like when we send them to job sites, they go with their, you know,
Or like middle college, high school, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's things that we can think about instead
Yeah.
of out of the box. So, but thank you so much for everything. Everybody's sharing out. It's just great ideas to hear.
Yeah. So glad you were here, Michael. You got us all talking.
Well, my hope is to keep us all talking until we arrive at the bright, beautiful future we all want for our clients and our students, which is you know, better supports for those transitions, and hopefully that ends up with better results for all of our clients and students as well. So I think we all want to get to the same place. So I'm excited to join you all in that. Yeah.
Good. All right, well, I'm still getting my feet under me. And I told Michael this when we talked the first time in November. I just started here. And this is a big change for me from being a counselor from the last 6 years. So I'm still, I don't know about Michael, but I'm still in the brainstorming stage just because I'm still trying to learn my job. But I want to definitely start moving towards something next year once I get my feet under me. And I think, you know, this is a good time to brainstorm and make those partnerships. And, you know, I had sent Michael a proposal that I submitted to MSJC in 2017 for a 3-tiered program for students on the autism spectrum or with developmental disabilities or more severe learning disabilities, where they could accomplish a bronze level, which would be they would be prepared to go and get a job, and they'd show this certificate saying, I've completed this bronze level, and they do well in an interview and things like that. Silver level, which would be like, they would be able to transition over to a certificate program at MVC based on that level, or the gold level, they would be able to transition over to an associate's degree program. But giving them that gap year between high school and college to develop those skills and come out of it with some kind of certificate, non-credit certificate.
Just so you know, because it almost sounds like, well, similar. The state of California, the CDE is actually working on an alternate diploma right now. So we have the high school diploma, we have the certificate of completion for our kids who are on alternate track. Right now, they're working on an alternate diploma, but the trouble that they've come onto is being able to determine what the standards are going to be that these students are working on. But it's something that they would get at the end of their high school career to say that I've completed this diploma, but it is an alternate diploma and stuff. So there's a lot of, it's in the works right now. Similar to what you're saying in regards to having that alternate type of levels that you have. And stuff that could give them pride to complete, but also show that they have abilities.
They have some skills. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, gosh, I didn't think we were going to go a whole 2 hours, but this has been awesome. Awesome.
I appreciate you letting me attend the meeting, and
sure, glad you asked.
Now I get some more information from people. I'm just excited.
Yeah, good. We're all going to be, our brains are going to be, wheels are going to be turning tonight. Well, you all have my email. Oh, I have a thing to share. Sorry. Wait for it. It is our QR code, which you can scan, and then you'll have all the little information that you need to contact us. And Bob's your uncle. So that'll give you all of our information. I didn't do the last slide. I was so glad it was over. But I'm really glad we got to have some meaningful conversations. This has been amazing. I feel so honored to be part of a community of allies and providers who care about this population. I'm just really thankful for that.
Thank you, Lisa, for getting us all together.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really good. I like these meetings. That way we can actually already connect, put a face to the name, get the contact information. All of that is really good.
Yeah, well, I have to admit, my dean made me. I don't know if Dean Avila is still on here, but I was like, I'm not ready. But as I started working on it, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be really good. This is what I want to do. I just didn't think I was ready. I'll be better next year.
No, this was great. And also, I just want to shout out the team. Everyone's not here, but Melody, Joe, Javi, Tina, and also Laura. And Melody really was keeping me accountable to continuing this before Lisa came. And it's something that we've done and do in a number of the other programs. It is just so helpful for us to be connected. And, you know, we thought, okay, last fall, we don't have enough time, but we're like, spring is gonna happen, it has to happen. So we may grow and, you know, morph into something different, but this is definitely good. So I can't take all the credit, but definitely Melody and Joe and everyone knew the importance of this meeting as well. So yes, I can't take all that credit, but thank you so much for everyone who's here. And thank you, Dr. Gates and the DSS team. I appreciate you all.
I don't know when I'm going to stop smiling when people say Dr. Yates. I'm like, one of these days I'm just going to go, yeah, but I'm still like, okay, well, goodbye. Drive safe if you're not home. Take care of yourselves, get some good dinner and some good sleep, and keep doing the work you're doing because it's so, so important. DOR, I would not be here if it was not for DOR, and I am so thankful for the work that your department does. And yeah, and my team, love my team. Very happy to be part of a hardworking team and a dedicated team like I have. So bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.